Hello and welcome to Channel Sport this morning. Many thanks for joining us again. I am Taya Salam.
Very good morning to you. It feels good to be here to take you on a trip across the morning, spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo.
All right, this is what the show looks like. We're starting off with the UEFA Champions League. That man on your screens, Stephen O'Day, was on target for KRC Genk against Liverpool. Unfortunately, it turned out to be just a consolation goal. But what we're celebrating today is the fact that this Nigerian international scored his first UCL goal, first Champions League goal on his debut. Hear me?
Very, very good for Stephen O'Day. And it feels so good to see Nigerians turning up in the UEFA Champions League in every corner. Victor Osimhen, Paul Onuachu, Peter Olayinka.
Right.
I see a lot of Super Eagles players doing it, and that's what we want to see. But for Stephen O'Day, very, very good to see him get on the score sheet, and this is hoping there'll be many more to come for the young lad. All right, so let's move on and talk about what's happening here in Nigeria basketball. No one would have predicted this final of first-timers, Air Warriors and MFM Queens found a way to get to the final of the Women's Basketball League. Comes as a surprise. A lot of people weren't expecting it, but that's the nature of the game.
Right.
Surprises are part of it. So MFM Queens and Air Warriors to slug it out in the final.
Fantastic, and this is very good for basketball in Nigeria because for the first time in the history of Women's Basketball League, neither First Bank nor Dolphins nor Deepwater are in the final. And so it's safe to say perhaps this is the start of a new era for Nigeria women's basketball. It's going to be today. That's the final. Later today in Surulere by 2 p.m. Of course, promises to be a very exciting game. We're still talking basketball, but we're going to the National Basketball Association where Kyrie Irving made his debut for the Brooklyn Nets against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Scored 50 points on the night, but it wasn't just enough. And his team lost narrowly to the Timberwolves just by a single point. And if pictures tell stories, Yemi?
Yeah, that picture is worth more than 1,000 words. Tells the story.
50 big ones.
Clear as daylight. I don't understand how you put 50 into the basket and your team still lose. But that's basketball for you. That's
basketball for you. I don't want to be in his shoes right now. I mean, what would have been a fantastic debut for Kyrie Irving? Ended up, on a sour note. But, I mean, it's just one game. Still many more games to right this wrong. So that's for Kyrie Irving and the Brooklyn Nets. We'll get back to the NBA much later on the show. Before then, let's talk a bit of Taekwondo.
Let's start with the sports minister.
Okay, the sports minister.
Biggest piece of news coming from yesterday. Since 2018, when the IAAF told us that, look, we overpaid you guys for $130,000 above what you're supposed to have, so kindly remit the money. And it's been one form of explanation
or the
other to them. But the sports minister, Sunday Diary, says he has approved funds for that remit. And of course, in a few days, the IAAF, that's the World Athletics governing body, will get their money. The funds will go into their accounts, barring any interbank delays.
Right.
And he says one of the words he used that I like is that it's all about restoring the image of Nigeria, because a lot of people have wondered when is the money going to be paid. I think this is a step in the right direction.
Absolutely. In case you kind of missed the story, you've not been following, what happened was the IAAF mistakenly paid a sum of $150,000 into the account of the AFN instead of $15,000, right? So obviously there's an overpayment there, and for whatever reason, the money has refused to be refunded. 2 years now counting, and you talked about the image of the country, which has been battered, over this very, very embarrassing situation. But we're hoping we've heard the last of it now.
Hopefully.
And truly, whatever money has been approved by the minister, gets to the right quarters, and we can move on finally.
Yeah, and close the chapter.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's close the chapter. Hopefully that's the end of it. And next time we're talking about IWF and Nigeria. We're talking about perhaps Nigeria, winning medals, perhaps a gold medal at the next World Championships in Eugene, United States of America. From that, let's move on. Let's talk a bit of Taekwondo now. I was very eager to talk about this one because the Korean Ambassador tournament went down over the weekend. We saw a lot of Nigerian prospects in action. A lot of those guys that don't normally get the platform and the opportunity to, to show off their skills, Taekwondo skills, and yeah, they didn't. It was decent opportunities for them. And every time we always come back and talk about how they need to be exposed and how they need to go to more competitions, because that's the fundamentals. Because no matter the training that you're on the go, if you don't actually get to to fight and exhibit your talents, then you're not really going to go nowhere. You're not going to develop at all, and that's what Chuka Chikimerije is saying, and everyone has been saying the same thing as well. It's pretty much our common knowledge.
It's the song we've all been singing for a while. And, look, this is just a bypass for me. What they're doing is, look, if those guys won't get the opportunity to get out, let's just bring the tournaments here. And I still commend them. I commend them for it. But we need more. Exposure is key. And I like what you said. Look, if you continue to train and you don't get a fight, look, combat sport is a bit different from other sports because you're a gladiator. You get to fight. You don't fight. What you're just doing is rehearsals.
True.
And so
exactly,
for these guys, we want to see more.
Yeah.
As good as it was that we're bringing grade A tournaments to the country, it would be very good to also see them travel out, measure up against the best in the sport.
Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, that's ideal, right? But we know situations are far from ideal in the country, and that's why usually when they bring in competitions like this, is always an exciting time. We get to talk about it. I love that. And ahead of the Tokyo Olympics as well, too, which is very important, this international exposure couldn't be more needed right now, because if you're trying to qualify for the Olympics, and that's the apex of it all, that's the highest level, then you have to be exposed internationally, especially. Let's take a listen to Chukwumerije now, who is the technical director of the Nigeria Taekwondo Federation.
What I know is 22nd, 23rd of February, our qualifiers is in Rabat, Morocco. And ideally, I would love 1 or 2 internationals before then, an international training camp. But the team will train right here. I've not had that yet. So what we've done is to have a lot of local programs, like this one. In 3 weeks, we have the Kebbi Opens in Kebbi. And 3 weeks after the Kebbi Open, we have the best of the best Taekwondo championships. In between, we have all kind of coaching workshop, referee workshop. So we really have been very busy. When you expose them to the national tournament, don't forget that the Olympic qualifiers is not a national tournament. So they are going against opposition who are constantly being exposed at the topmost level. So if we do not get the resources to go out, that will not be an excuse for me. We're going to stay here and keep working hard every day, going for these 3 or 4 national programs planned here, and hopefully our experience will come into bear when we meet the opposition. We've been doing a lot of data gathering. So we know the top opposition in all the Olympic weight categories. Our team has been downloading the videos on our opposition. We've been studying them. So we know how to beat them. But would our athletes be able to imbibe this strategy without being exposed internationally? It is these young men you are seeing now that are going to have to apply that strategy. So if they apply it here, hopefully if they can apply it maybe like the French Opens, they will gain confidence. They will apply it in maybe like the Israel Open, they will gain more confidence, so that the Olympic qualifiers, they can execute with more confidence.
Let's move on to the National Basketball Association now, where loads of games were played yesterday, stroke early this morning. We're not talking about Lakers again because they played a couple of days ago. Let's start with the Yeah, let's give you results for all the matches that were played early yesterday. Early this morning, I beg your pardon, the Thunder and the Utah Jazz are faced off, and it was Utah winning 105-95. So the post-Westbrook era has started with a loss for OKC. Too bad for them there. But unlike OKC, for the Charlotte Hornets, they started their post-Kemba Walker era with a 126-125 victory over the Chicago Bulls. So fantastic way to start the season for Michael Jordan's team. Elsewhere, the Denver Nuggets defeated the Portland Trail Blazers 108-100. Nikola Jokic, 20 points and 10 rebounds on the night to power the Blazers, to power the Nuggets past the Blazers. For the Blazers, Yemi, we're not really interested in them like we used to because Al-Farouq Aminu is no longer there.
Yep.
So good luck to them for the rest of the season. Cleveland Cavaliers 85-94, the loss to the Magic. And talking about Al-Farouq Aminu, who plays for Orlando Magic now, he came off the bench to score 5 points on his debut, and his team won on the day. It'll be very interesting to see going forward if he's going to keep coming off the bench, because this guy is going from being a bona fide starter with the Portland Trail Blazers to starting on the bench against the Orlando Magic. I hope it's just temporary. And it's just
you know, that's my hope too. In the next few games will determine. You know, when you join a new club, you know, the dynamics might change a little, but hopefully, you know, things will just swing in his favor.
Hopefully so. So there are other matches. Grizzlies lost against the Miami Heat 120-101. The Dallas Mavericks defeated the Washington Wizards 108-100. Last but not the least is the Timberwolves and the Brooklyn Nets, the match of the night. What a match it was. Went into overtime, and it was the Timberwolves prevailing by a single point. And there's a lot to talk about in this game, but that's going to happen after we come back from this break.
Yeah. So let's go on that break, and still more for you on Sports This Morning.
Welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. We're not being joined by Rotimi Akindele. Rotimi is going to be helping us to review everything that went down at the NBBF Women's Basketball League yesterday in Surulere. Rotimi, it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you. Good morning. Good to be here.
I know. But before we dive into the Women's Basketball League, let's just wrap up our conversation on the NBA.
Yep.
Fantastic. No, not fantastic.
Well, you can say fantastic opening nights for some of the teams.
Right.
Starting from Tuesday, when you had the double headers, the championship guys,
Pelicans and Raptors.
Pelicans and Raptors. I think it was a good game. Solid game, not to say. Pascal Siakam was big. Drew Holiday was big for the other guys. Lonzo Ball as well. And then it was just a way to start the season for Toronto Raptors. I mean, it was in Canada, so hey, right. They should do something at the Scotiabank Arena. But then again, in the other game that a lot of persons have talking about the
Lakers and the Clippers,
the Los Angeles battle.
Yeah.
I like the fact that Clippers are very, very good. I mean, the bench scored 60 points as against Lakers 19 points from the bench.
Exactly.
If you have that kind of statistics, only one team will go on to win, and that was what the Clippers did.
By the way, let me throw this in quickly.
Yep.
Do you think the rivalry is going to be intense now that both sides now have?
Of course, it's real.
Sure, it will be intense, and I think it was a good, good statement made by Clippers.
Yeah.
We're not the lower side. We are the big side, and they've been dubbed as one of the teams to probably go win it this year. And you can't blame anybody. If you watch that game, Kawhi Leonard has come into that team and just fits in like it as if
He's been there.
He's been in the team all along. So, and then it's not just Kawhi Leonard. They've got big players as well who, on a good day, can fit into any other team starting five. So it was huge. It was huge for Clippers. I like the fact that they were able to manage the bench and of course the starting five. But the worry for LA Lakers is, yes, LeBron James now have support cast that can help him get something.
He's got a superstar.
That's what I'm saying. He has what you can call a healthy
roster.
Support cast.
Yeah.
But for LeBron himself, he's been weak on his offenses lately.
Yeah.
Maybe he's here to leave that last season's web. He's got to come out of it. At some point in this game that he should have probably just
attacked.
And then
attack mode.
His attack mode is low, but
it's just one.
Just game one.
Exactly,
it's
one game
one, but it's worrisome
Yeah.
for a player as big as LeBron James.
Oh, just one game.
His elevation, his power is still there, but finishing is a bit worrisome for a player as big as LeBron James. And then again, on the other side, I think for Kyrie Irving, he will be happy. He scored 50 points last night.
I don't think he'll be happy.
It will be, yeah.
It's his debut right there.
It was his debut.
At the Barclays Arena in front of the home fans.
He had the chance to win the game.
Lost his balance.
Lost his balance and couldn't win the game.
Yeah.
But then again, at least he has an interesting record. Kiki Van der Wey had the record for most shots on a debut, most points on a debut, 47. That was back in October 1984. So he's had 50 points on his debut. So at least
most guys would take their team winning over.
Exactly. That's it.
I mean, that came from an individual point.
Okay.
But the first for the team, it was a sour way to lose, really, for
50
Brooklyn
points.
Nets. But then again, it was good. Some other teams, I'm happy Miami Heat won.
Miami won, right? Without Jimmy Butler, it was a sellout. It was a sold-out crowd that came to watch Jimmy Butler, but he missed the game for personal reasons. But it was good to see other players step up as well, so, including Bam Adebayo, who had a fantastic game, a double-double, 14 points and 11 rebounds for Miami. Before we leave the NBA, let's see the top performers on the night. 4 of them. And 2 on the winning side, 2 on the losing side. So sometimes you might play really well and end up on the losing side. This guy, Karl Anthony Towns, ended up on the winning side for the Minnesota Timberwolves, 36 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 assists.
Brilliant.
Our next guy, brilliant indeed. Kyrie, 58 and 7. It's not much to say about this again, other than it was very despondent after that game, scoring and playing so well and ended up on the losing side. Let's move on to our next guy, Luka Doncic. Fantastic player, rookie of the year last year. A lot has been expected of this guy, and he lived up in the very first game of the season, 34-9-3 for the Dallas Mavericks in their win over the Washington Wizards.
He has this interesting
You like this guy, Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah, so I mean, you should watch out for those two this season?
The last guy is Damian Lillard, 32.4 and 8. Ended up on the losing side for the Trailblazers. Quick one on Kristaps Porzingis and Luka Doncic. We had Ayrton there on the show yesterday, and we did this the top duos coming into the NBA, and he actually gave them a special mention. Yeah. After listing all the popular ones, and I'll give them a special mention that Doncic and Porzingis are duo to watch out for.
Yeah,
and they started on a fantastic note.
It's that European pair we've been waiting for. Let's see how they will blend into the NBA. And they had a fantastic night. So good start. There's also another Italian who is with the Pelicans, I think. Is it Pelicans? Or the Raptors, Melli. He's good with the 3 points. Watch out for him as well. So.
All right, then. So that's it for the NBA. Let's come back home and talk about the Women's Basketball League. And like we said at the start of the show, we have a final of first-timers. Straight away, Rosemary, you didn't see this one coming at all. You thought it was going to be the usual suspects in the final, but it's not. I'll get your thoughts in a bit now. Confirmation of the results. First Bank losing ever so narrowly by a point to Air Warriors. So Air Warriors proceeded into the championship game later today. And the second semi-final was between Dolphins and MFM Queens. And it was Queens reigning supreme, 58-53. Final fixtures between those two sides, Air Warriors, MFM Queens, today in Surulere National Stadium, while the third place fixture is going to be between the more traditional powerhouses in women's basketball.
In most cases, would have been the final.
Exactly. But they're playing for third place.
You know, Rotimi, you said, while you just came on said that you saw the matches and you said you felt First Bank lost it. Yeah,
they threw it away. I think at some point they were complacent going into that game. There was this strong confidence. We've been here. We've always been here. The last championship game they lost was back in 2015. So this is like a 4-year winning streak coming to a halt. And then at some point they were up with about 8 points, or even as much as 9 points. And then you had this lady that plays, that lady, Blessing Kasham. She made 3 points draw. Twice in the fourth quarter. That was very crucial. And then while First Bank was trying to get into the paint and get the basket and all of that, she just gets the ball, give me the space for a 3 points chance, and then she sinks it in. And that was what happened. So when the game got tied, I think 58-58, everybody was saying, okay, maybe First Bank with the experience will probably still make this one. Or somehow we'll go into overtime. But it didn't happen. They lost, just like we're talking about Kyrie Irving, at some point they lost their balance, and then some 0.8 seconds left on the clock. You had that. As a matter of fact, if you're a big basketball fan, you probably spank such player for making such a foul, because, hey, they had no business making such a foul at that time. That game would have gone into overtime, but hey.
So they put the guy on the free throw line.
Of course. So they had 2 free throws with 0.8 seconds left, and that was enough.
To be fair, come on, sometimes when the pressure is ramped up.
It was the pressure. That's why I said,
you just
going into the game, they were a bit confident. They got complacent. And then fourth quarter, hey, these ladies are coming back. And the pressures came in, and so they couldn't handle it. But, it must be said, we've been talking about Air Warriors from their face, even when they started the final 8. Watch out for this team. If they avoid First Bank en route to the finals, then we'll see First Bank and Air Warriors in the finals. But, the fixtures probably didn't smile on First Bank. So we saw what you can say the final before the final in the semis.
All right, then, too bad, but it is what it is now. They've done well to advance. I was just going to take you up on the fact that you should give credit to Air Warriors, which is what you've done eventually.
I must say quickly, it's the first time a Savannah Conference team is making it to the final in about 3-4 years ago. So,
all right, congratulations to Air Warriors. Still just one more game to go now. They still need one more hurdle to cross before they get to the promised lands. Let's take a listen to the coach of the winning side now, Samson Shotimino. Obviously, he's a very delighted man.
I'm so happy about it, very, very happy about it. And this is our first time in the league, so I was so happy. I'm so happy, very, very happy. It's all about, what I told them is, it's all about their own self. They are not playing for the crowd. They are playing for themselves. So let them make themselves proud. So I just share them up. I tell them not to play to the crowd. Play. This is yourself. This is you. Play. Just for them to go there and beat them and win the cup. Hard work. Hard work. It's hard work, sir. We're just giving glory to God. But I know my guests are going to carry the cup.
Hard work, glory to God. I am pretty much confident that they will get the job done later today against MFM Queens. You have to say they are slight favorites going into that one?
They are.
They are, okay.
Yes, they are. I mean, I saw the other game, MFM and Dolphins. I felt a bit of pity for Dolphins. A day earlier, had gone into overtime twice. In their game against Delta Force, another very big game. So coming into this particular game against MFM were fresher. But there was a lot of what you term probably schoolboy errors, on the part of MFM. It probably should have gone on to, blow this team out.
Shouldn't have been
this close. Shouldn't have been a 5-pointer because they left it late. They actually had to bounce back in the fourth quarter to go on to win this one. But kudos to MFM. It's a new side as well, and the fact that they will be playing in the final is something big.
Yeah.
But on the balance of play, what Air Warriors have done so far in the final late, if you put it side by side with what MFM had done, you probably just pick Air Warriors to win this final.
Okay.
But you know how these things go.
That's why I said on the balance of play, on paper.
And it's good. We don't have to wait for too long. This afternoon, we'll know what's going to happen. Rotimi and a couple of people are disappointed with First Bank. And, after that kind of a loss, there's always an explanation. So let's listen to the coach of First Bank, Lateef Olari, his explanation, his reaction after seeing his team lose. So let's get his reaction come up from All Sports this morning.
Well, unfortunate, you understand. We had a nice lead. We can actually say we won the game, but we just stopped making one or two mistakes. The other team, they came out fighting. They continued to fight. They made one or two shots that brought them back, and unfortunately, we lost our head in 9 seconds of the game. No, I can never be disappointed with my girls. You understand? That's the way sports is. Like I said, unfortunately, we made one or two mistakes because we're the same team that was up like 15 points or one thing or another. Sure, you understand? So I can't be disappointed with them. The only thing I can say, I can be disappointed with myself. Sure, you understand? Although, unfortunately, it happened like that. Well, right now, I think we have a top position game to play, and we'll get ready for it.
All right. I think the right attitude. You win some, you lose some. I mean, don't just beat yourself over it, and so you move on. You said something I'd also like you to share with us, because you saw these games.
Yeah.
There's a fast rising star you want to talk about.
I will not be surprised if I share in the national team in the next few months. Mihi Cynthia, she plays for Dolphin. Of course, she wears jersey number 4.
For Dolphins?
Let me borrow Tyler's words. She's a sniper. She's good with her shots from the 3 points, from the paint, from the hack. She's just from outside the hack as well. She's just very good. She had 20 points in that game against MFM. So I think we should watch out for her. Grace as well had to leave it late for MFM. She had 17 points in that particular game. But all in all, we've seen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 talents or probably national team prospects or national team materials at the final late, and kudos to all the players.
All right, kudos to all the players, and we're talking sniper, good sniper here, not the bad one. Let's make that very clear. Let's get on with the show now. We're still talking basketball. Let's go from the ladies on to the guys. The NVBF President's Cup, that's also going on right now. The guys are also getting to play basketball, and let's give you confirmation. Let's give you results of matches played yesterday. That's day 3. Benue Braves, they were in action against Lagos Islanders. Islanders winning 74-55 expectedly. But for the Braves, it was a lot more improved performance from their second game where they barely cracked 30 points. So hopefully they can get better subsequently. Dordon Warriors lost 43-58 against the Civil Defenders. while the Ondo Raiders were raided. They lost 54-62 against Army Rockets. The soldiers are invading Ondo and getting all those 3 points. Ekiti Invaders lost by 80-86 against the Niger Porters. Rivers Hoopers 63-47 over Police Barton, while the Raptors lost against the Coal City Miners 67-54.
Day 4 fixtures.
Day 4 fixtures, hear me?
Lagos Islanders up against Rivers Hoopers. You have Coal City Miners up against Ekiti Invaders. Police Baton up against Army Rockets. Benue Braves up against Ondo Raiders. And you have Civil Defenders up against Kwara Falcons.
Have you gotten used to this President's Cup before we move on? No, you haven't. Okay.
Well, I think it's more like a sub-league, but we'll still accept it. It's a league. Civil Defenders, Kwara Falcons.
Better than nothing, though.
Yeah. But why do we always have to...
What?
Why do we always have to, like, Yemi just said, no, it's better than nothing. But
that's why I don't want to
go there.
I don't want to hear it's bad. But as I said, Let's talk about the games.
Yeah.
I think Kwara Falcons and Civil Defenders would be a big one. Civil Defenders, I've actually tipped Rivers Hoopers and Kwara Falcons to play in the finale. I don't know when that is happening, but of course, I think they should be the top two. But Civil Defenders is also a team you should look out for in this particular President's Cup.
All right, so that's it for the President's Cup and basketball. Indeed, time to move to the beautiful game, and that's football, obviously. UEFA Champions League matches were played yesterday, match day 3, groups E to H, and some very interesting results to talk about. In Group E, Liverpool 4-1 over Genk. There was a Nigerian score in that one. Stephen Ode consolation goal, but it all counts. Napoli 3-2 over Salzburg. Erling Haaland scoring twice. Could have had 3 goals actually against Napoli, but Napoli have Dries Mertens, who's a fantastic player, and it's getting very close to being the all-time top scorer for Napoli right now. Currently held by Marek Hamsik. In Group F, Inter Milan 2-0 over Borussia Dortmund. Lautaro Martinez and Target, as well as Antonio Candreva, getting all 3 points for Antonio Conte's side. Slavia Prague 1-2 against Barcelona. Lionel Messi, an unfortunate own goal from Nigeria's Peter Lainka. Too bad, but these things happen. In Group G, RB Leipzig 2-1 over Zenit, while Benfica identical scoreline over Lyon.
It was a gift. It was a gift from Lyon, though.
Gift, well, you take it. They give you a gift, you take it. Group H, last but not the least, Ajax, Chelsea. 1-0 over Ajax. Michi Batshuayi scoring the winner late in that game, while Lille and Valencia played out a 1-1 draw. You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Time to leave the UEFA Champions League. Let's talk about the Europa League. A couple of big teams that will be in action, Arsenal and Manchester United. But let's talk about United. They'll be taking on Partizan Belgrade, and unfortunately, once again, that match, the build-up has been dominated by, racism issues. We don't want to talk about racism when we're talking about football, but the reality
is... Racism is ugly head, so you can't avoid it.
It's been a scourge, and it's not...
if you also consider the distance between Serbia and Bulgaria...
Yeah, this...
And then there are talks of, UEFA should implement the 3-step protocol. Racism.
I mean, if there is a racist abuse, then the authorities are gonna have to implement the 3-step protocol and perhaps abandon the game.
I don't think we'll see it.
And not leave it to the players to stage a walkout.
I don't think we'll see it as as bad as what we saw in Sofia.
Like you just said, Bulgaria and Serbia, like. Pretty much
Eastern Europe.
Yeah,
not far from each
they're very notorious for that.
I don't think it will be that bad. I mean, we saw an incident in Greece because your team was losing, and then ultras had to come in and start fighting and all of that. We've not heard anything from UEFA, but I'm sure we will hear. Probably because it happened in the youth league and didn't happen in the main game between Olympiacos and Bayern. But I feel somehow there are steps to, checkmating this particular kind of incident. So I'm not sure we'll see it as bad as what we saw.
You're spot on, because talking about plans to checkmate and to prevent anything from going wrong, this match will be played under very tight security in the Serbian capital. And like I said, it's on the back of what happened in the Euro qualifier against Bulgaria.
Okay. All right, let's listen to those who are concerned about what happens with this issue. Let's listen to the Manchester United manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, talking about this game and what his team could do if something happens.
Harry Maguire is there as well.
All right. And Harry Maguire, sharing his thoughts on the game. All right. I don't think there's anything to add.
Okay, there's something to add, because we have used about 2 minutes to talk about racism. And
we're not talking about the game.
About the game itself. What are you expecting from United in this game?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Of course, on paper, United should go out. Play for the points.
Close your eyes.
It's Partizan Belgrade. So go out and play well and win. But then again, nowadays you don't know the kind of United side
that shows
up or that turns up for games. So if anything goes wrong, I hope they don't hinge on the racism talks, and use it as an excuse. On a good day, or stage a walkout, and But on a good day, United should beat Partizan, whether you play in England or you're playing.
Really?
I'm just saying.
This United side. That's
why I said, we're saying this, I said on a good day.
But they've had their good days have been very far in between.
They just had a good day against Liverpool, according to their standards.
Okay. Before we take a look at
that. According to the current United standard, that was a good day.
Okay. Let's take a look at
your sarcasm. All right.
I'm not.
Before we take a look at the papers, let's just quickly talk about the FIFA Club World Cup, the expansion. Even though there's a sort of dilemma, the European clubs are saying, look, we're not going to be part of this. But the FIFA president is adamant, is insisting that China 2021, and that's the place to be, that all clubs will enjoy this. It's better than what we currently have.
The point is, why are you expanding the FIFA Club World Cup? But
he says it's going to make it better.
Make it better. It's just because there have been. I'm sure there's more money to be made.
You're talking. You answered your question.
That's it. That's why I said, why are we expanding? But then again, on the commercial front,
he wants it to be a proper competition.
It can't be a proper competition, because you probably get to alter some big teams' schedules and all of that. So you want to start hosting the FIFA Club World Cup for 3 weeks or 1 month? It's not possible. So if you're expanding, you have to consider all of that. But commercially, it will be viable.
And that's why
exactly, and that's why it's being considered.
All right, let's do the papers now.
All right, we'll go straight to the papers. Tayo can't seem to stop laughing. But let's look at complete sports. Interesting stories. Top corner, Chamberlain grabs brace. Aribo targets Porto's scalp in the Europa League. Ozil set to return. Stoke City sweat on a table. A lot of interesting stories in today's complete sports. Which one gets you talking? Maybe the Ozil saga.
You've got to talk about Ozil. Come on, what is going on?
I honestly think there's got to be a third-party involvement.
How?
In this case.
How so?
Someone should sit down, Emery, and sit down Ozil and say, what is happening? It's not like Arsenal have been fantastic.
They've not.
Without Ozil. And there are some games you watch or we've seen this season that
even as poor as you think Ozil might be sometimes,
you tell yourself, Ozil is needed in this game to help you get the win. It's not been working. So why stay?
There are times he's not even on the bench, and you have Joe Wheeler,
which is worrisome. So if you have pegged down Ozil to in the Europa League squad player, then that's sad. That's sad.
That's sad.
Your highest earner.
Yeah, incredible stuff. Let's leave Ozil now. Let's come to Sporting Life now. Very interesting story. The Nigeria Football Federation have begun their chase of Bukayo Saka. NFF moves to bring Arsenal star to the Super Eagles.
Is that the direction we're going? Super Eagles in diaspora. Is that what we're doing?
There's nothing wrong with it.
Is that? I mean, because
it's a good direction.
But the problem is that it makes you escape your responsibility of developing.
That's when it becomes a problem.
And that's why
when it becomes a problem.
I agree. I mean, lately what we've seen is picking players from diaspora. But then again, was that official statement by the NFF saying that they're going for
No, we're just reviewing the papers. That's what you have.
That's what I'm saying.
Papers,
At times when I see stuff like this, I'm like, okay, one of those things.
It is what it is. It's the papers.
Yeah, I know. But as long as the NFF didn't come out to say to us that, oh, it's now Bukayo Saka next. Why? Because he's playing for Arsenal and he's been playing in the last many games.
Yeah, he has a great prospect. It's coming up slowly.
If he has a great prospect, let him develop well.
All right.
We've got our whole homework to do here.
Yeah. So Bukayo Saka is eligible to play for Nigeria. Is eligible to play for England as well as Ghana. I've got a few of my friends in Ghana already claiming him as well too. So NFL better move really fast before.
And when he comes in, he becomes what?
I'm still on Sporting Lion Reds, whitewash the Belgians. Batshuayi strikes late for the Blues. Juve keen on £100 million for Conte. Sterling, my mother keeps my hat-trick match balls. That's very interesting. Battle against Benin Republic and Lesotho. Raw delays Eagles list programs. And NFF Chiefs are worried. I don't know if there's any reason for them to be worried. Let's go to Sporting Sun now. Chukwueze will become world's best. That's according to Moreno, who happens to be a teammate. This guy, sky's the limit for Samuel Chukwueze.
If he gets the right teachings and imbibes it, it will be a world best. That's just the truth.
And not get carried away with his success.
Exactly. He's got to stay grounded. Mourinho talks with Dortmund. I don't believe that. Minister orders are one.
No, well, you should believe it because there are talks that he's been talking to some big European clubs, not Real Madrid. Because
I don't consider
Real Madrid
Dortmund big European club.
Also, as it stands, Mourinho would probably take a chance to be in the Bundesliga.
All right.
Yeah, but not Dortmund.
You know, we've crossed the line. We need to go now.
Yeah.
Rotimi, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. We'll take this conversation out of the studio. Rotimi, I want to thank you for your time on the show.
Thank you, guys.
Nice having you. Thank you as well for allowing us to be a part of your morning. We'll do this again tomorrow. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.
I'm Tayo Salam. Enjoy the rest of your day.